What if I told you there was a man who, through his words alone, shook the foundations of a nation? A man who refused to stay silent in the face of injustice and inspired a generation to rise up by any means necessary. Today, we're talking about Malcolm X, one of the most controversial, misunderstood, and impactful leaders of the 20th century. His journey, from street hustler to global icon, is a story of transformation, defiance, and the pursuit of truth. Born Malcolm Little in Omaha, Nebraska in 1925, his early life was marked by tragedy and struggle. His father, a preacher and follower of Marcus Garvey, was murdered when Malcolm was just 6 years old. His mother was institutionalized, and Malcolm found himself lost in the streets of Boston and Harlem. After being arrested for burglary in 1946, Malcolm's life took a turn. In prison, he encountered the teachings of the Nation of Islam and its leader, Elijah Muhammad. It was there that he changed his name to Malcolm X, rejecting the slave name of his ancestors and embracing a new identity, one rooted in Black empowerment. Upon his release from prison, Malcolm became a key figure in the Nation of Islam, quickly rising to prominence. His speeches were fiery, direct, and unapologetic. Unlike other civil rights leaders of his time, Malcolm X didn't preach nonviolence. Instead, he called for Black people to defend themselves by any means necessary. His philosophy was simple. Black people deserved freedom, equality, and dignity, and they shouldn't wait for it to be handed to them. He condemned white supremacy, but also urged Black people to reclaim their power and pride. Malcolm's message was radically different from that of other civil rights leaders, like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who advocated for peaceful resistance and integration. Malcolm questioned whether integration was the solution at all. He argued that true freedom required separation from a system built on racism. His ideas were controversial, especially among white Americans who viewed him as a dangerous radical. But to many in the Black community, Malcolm X was a voice of strength and defiance, someone who spoke the truth, even when it was uncomfortable. In 1964, Malcolm X's journey took another dramatic turn. After growing disillusioned with the leadership of the Nation of Islam, he left the organization. His pilgrimage to Mecca transformed his views on race and religion. For the first time, Malcolm X saw people of all colors worshiping together, and it opened his eyes to the possibility of unity beyond racial lines. On February 21, 1965, Malcolm X was assassinated while giving a speech in New York. He was just 39 years old. His death sent shockwaves through the nation, but his legacy was far from over. Malcolm's words and ideas continued to inspire generations of activists, from the Black Power movement to today's fight for racial justice. His message of self-determination and resistance lives on.